backs are plummeting down dynasty rankings. Should you be selling these guys? What should you be doing with them? We're going to talk about all of that today and more. First, do us a huge favor. If you play Dynasty, you are going to want to be here. We'll be your home for Dynasty content. So make sure you drop a like on the video, like on 3. You were late, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We've got Dynasty content. I'm doing my intro. Nathan?
Continue.
Fight on camera?
No.
We're gonna get all kinds of Dynasty content coming out for you, and we get to argue a little bit, and that should make you a little bit happy. People like it when we debate, so maybe we should just get super heated about something on this episode. But make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and flockfantasy.com/domain has all of our exclusive content. You get a player, I always say player blueprint. You get a team blueprint. I mean, I freaking thought of the thing, and I don't know what it's called. It's a team blueprint, and it's a good idea of where your Dynasty team sits now, and a multi-year plan for your Dynasty team as well. Players to target, players to sell, moves you should be making, what 3-year windows look like for you. So, like I said, flockfantasy.com/domain, the annual Mother Flocker tier gets you a player blueprint, but with all the tiers, you get all of our exclusive content. So go check it out. Use code domain for 30% off. Again, today, we've got running backs plummeting down dynasty rankings, and the question is, should you be selling them? The first one is going to be Breece Hall. I love that Breece Hall is falling down dynasty rankings because we're very quick to forget something. I'm going to settle in here because I really want to marinate this point. Breece Hall, do you guys remember the first 6 games of Breece Hall's career? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What were your takeaways from those stretch of games?
That he was the running back 1 in Dynasty at the time.
Period.
Yeah.
He looked ridiculous.
And his receiving upside was elite level towards the end of that stretch.
Elite. He looked ridiculous. Yes, we know he's coming off an ACL. And we're adjusting. This year, we are not super high on him as a contending piece. We're not super high on him in redraft. However, in Dynasty, we are very confident, especially with the type of ACL tear that Breece Hall had, that he's going to return to form next year. Given that information, Breece Hall is going to soon be a very valuable buy low in Dynasty. You should not be selling Breece Hall. You look at his keep trade cut draft, and he's going down. He's now the RB4. You should not be selling him.
I think it could go down to RB5 or 6 as the running backs at the beginning of the season start scoring more points. Look, this is Dynasty Fantasy Football.
I told you I got an offer the other day, Tyreek Hill for Breece Hall.
That
has to be tempting, right?
It has to be tempting.
I'm very tempted, even as a contender, to just get the value and take Breece Hall. Dalvin signed a 1-year deal, guys. He's not there long term. Yes, it affects Breece Hall this year, but this is Dynasty. Breece is hardly 22 years old. He just turned 22. He's never scored less than 10 points. He averaged 16 points per game last year. He never even topped a 69% snap share. And that's nice.
It's funny to me that in Dynasty, a lot of times the fantasy impact for why a guy like Dalvin Cook signs with the Jets then directly impacts their Dynasty value as well. And when Breece Hall is dropping a significant amount of ADP in Dynasty, why? Dalvin Cook means absolutely nothing after this season.
Nothing. They're going for a Super Bowl. They can still do that. Breece is still going to be productive to an extent this year. I mean, last year on a 48.8% snap share, which was 32nd in the league, he still put up elite production. That will obviously change this year with Dalvin, but he's still capable of good production and a long-term elite ceiling. Elite. He was 3rd in true yards per carry last year. He was 3rd in yards created per touch. He was 1st in yards per touch, and he was 1st in juke rate and 2nd in breakaway run rate as a rookie in 6 games.
Look, we're tempering our expectations in fantasy for Breece Hall this season, but that should not massively impact his Dynasty value. We play Dynasty in 3-year windows, and next season, Breece Hall is going to be a top 5 running back.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the next guy on this list.
Ramondre Stevenson. Another veteran signing.
Different scenario here, though.
Can we say we told you?
We did.
We told you it was going to happen.
Over and over on this channel.
Bill Belichick has done this for years and years.
Why would
and
he
years
change?
and years.
He's a boomer. Why is he going to change his ways, guys? He's going to be set in his ways. He's like, I got to bring in somebody else. Well, he's like, I got to bring in somebody else to take some carries from Ramondre Stevenson. He did. He brought in Zeke. We knew they were going to bring somebody in. We knew it. And we told you after Ramondre had that year last year. Look, it's great that Ramondre produced. Be careful drafting him in the 5th and 6th round because he's a guy that will lose value when they bring in somebody else and just straight up lose value because he's an older running back already. We told you.
Ramondre Stevenson has great receiving upside.
Awesome. And
But
still does.
you know right away what Zeke Elliott is going to be used for in that offense, which is the Damian Harris role.
Don't even act like he's not going to affect
Red
Ramondre.
zone.
That's
Red zone.
ridiculous.
Can I say it again? Red zone. Public service announcement. Ramondre Stevenson is going to fall in value because of this signing, and he should, and you should not be buying him because of it.
Different than Brees. Ramondre is not a guy you're buying. I 100% agree. And the difference is Ramondre was overvalued already. Yeah. Brees was valued correctly. If Brees had not gotten hurt, Brees would be going at the 1-2 turn in dynasty drafts. Ramondre, he's going in the 5th, 6th round. He should still be going in the 7th, 8th round pretty consistently. When he drops to that range, that's where he should be valued. He's not a buy low at that point. He's just a player you're drafting. And he's just a hold or a sell. If you're getting Zay Flowers for Ramondre Stevenson, you're selling Ramondre Stevenson.
If you have someone in your league that literally thinks Zeke Elliott was signed for nothing and that he's going to do nothing to Ramondre Stevenson's production, sell the heck out of him,
And look, in PPR leagues, yes, he's still going to have that receiving upside. You can give the stats. It's your guy, but you can give the stats.
So Ramondre was 10th in opportunities, 16th in attempts, 3rd in targets. That's very, very good.
We love
3rd
that.
in targets.
We love that.
And that's going to give Ramondre probably a better floor than Damian Harris ever had, because Damian Harris was so much more touchdown dependent and so much less efficient than Ramondre Stevenson ever will be. We think Ramondre is a better running back than Damian Harris was when he was at his best. That said, 12th in rushing yards, 7th in receiving yards, 10th in points per game. That's all really, really great. But it's the unfortunate fact of New England Patriots backfields
that we've known, that we've seen over and over. If you've watched football at all in the last 10 years, you know this.
You guys just know better. You should know better. And that's all we're saying. Like, just come on. The longevity of running backs in a New England offense is minimal. Yes. It's minimal. And what's going to happen to Ramondre when he goes to a different team? Because they're not going to pay him. They never pay running backs. He's probably going to be the RB2 somewhere. Next up is going to be DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift, 7th in yards per carry, 10th in targets, 11th in receiving yards. Look, we've seen DeAndre Swift be the most efficient back on a by-touch basis in the NFL, honestly. Like, last year, he was getting such limited touches. He had 13.7 points per game. People act like DeAndre Swift went out there last year and had 8 points per game. I mean, DeAndre Swift's bad seasons are 13.5 points per game. He had 16 in 2021, and he had 14.6 in 2020, which is a pretty freaking... If this is DeAndre Swift's floor, that's a pretty high floor, if you ask me. I mean, he was 6th in target share. He was 5th in yards per out run. He was 2nd in yards per touch. He was 8th in true yards per carry. He was 5th in breakaway run rate. He was 2nd in yards created per touch. He was 3rd in fantasy points per opportunity. Guys, that is good. I'm somebody who's very skeptical about DeAndre Swift because I invested in him highly when he was being drafted in the 2nd, 3rd round.
Because of that efficiency.
And it burnt me. But I saw it. I'm like, if this is his floor, what are they going to do when they give him opportunity? And they just didn't. So look at his graph. Take a look at this giraffe right here. This giraffe's going like this. Like it's drinking water or something.
It's a steady decline.
It is just a steady decline. And nothing is stopping it. Like, what is going to stop this train? Here's what can stop this train. And yes, you can go in the comments and you can make the argument. We'll never stop this train.
Sorry, continue.
You can go in the comments and make the argument that Jalen Hurts is not going to check the ball down to DeAndre Swift. And Miles Sanders got limited checkdowns. 100% accurate. That is absolutely true. However, DeAndre Swift's probably going to have a bigger role this year than you think. The main reason that people are shorting DeAndre Swift's potential usage in the Eagles offense is not because they don't check the ball down, but it's because they think Rashad Penny is going to have a bigger role than he actually will. And Rashad Penny, Nathan said it a couple months ago off camera to me, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the record don't quote him on this. Nathan told me, he said, I would not be surprised if Rashad Penny got cut. And I think Nathan might actually have a chance at being right. Rashad Penny, I get it. They have so much running back depth, though. Rashad Penny's on a $1 million deal. Like,
max. Like, they don't even owe him that.
No. Guys, I think we're just assuming Rashad Penny's going to be like some kind of bell cow. I mean, not only ignoring that Rashad Penny can't stay healthy, but also just completely diminishing DeAndre Swift in the process. Yeah. Why did the Eagles only pay a 5th for him? Because the Lions literally didn't want him anymore.
Yeah.
And they didn't feel like using him. I mean, look, the situation didn't get worse. It didn't. Yeah. This is not a worse situation than the Lions. Yes, I understand that the Lions was a totally ideal situation. I get it. But regardless of whether you acknowledge that or not, the Eagles, they have a better offense. DeAndre Swift can also be used not just out of the backfield. He can line up and run routes.
Yep.
He is capable of that. It's in his skill set. He does have a route tree.
Yeah. As a running back talent, that's what we overestimated last season with DeAndre Swift. As we said, as a running back talent, he is elite, along with his passing game ability, which is definitely elite. But his vision is lacking, and I think that's why Detroit moved on from him and they went with a more elite prospect in Jahmyr Gibbs. But the Eagles have shown that you can have a high-producing mid-grade running back like Miles Sanders. And he got a good contract for it in Carolina.
DeAndre Swift is going to get more carries than you think.
Yeah. Yep. And
that's where the disconnect is here.
Yeah. And I get one of the biggest concerns is going to be that Jalen Hurts does not show that he checks the ball down consistently. I get that's a concern.
It's valid.
But remember last year, like Jalen Hurts played injured last season towards the end of the year. And a lot of that was because he ran the ball a lot. And while that is a great strength for him and that offense,
they're going to have to cut it back.
They're going to have to cut it back a little bit. And that means probably instead of Jalen Hurts taking off and running when he's under duress, it's probably going to be to dump the ball off to DeAndre Swift, who is more expendable.
I think we try to be too analytical with DeAndre Swift in terms of looking at Jalen Hurts and breaking down his check down rate. Yeah. When in reality, you have a efficient and elite playmaking running back on an elite offense. That should be basis enough to buy DeAndre Swift at his current price of RB28. He's not even going as an RB2.
2 to 28. That's
He's
unreal.
A mid RB3, guys. To absolutely take a shot on this talent and this efficiency. You've got the last guy on this list.
Last guy is going to be Kendry Miller. And this is a guy that, I mean, we could even take an L on. We were higher on Kendry Miller because we were lower on Alvin Kamara. And now the script has kind of been flipped a little bit. And we are concerned. This season, we don't think that Kendry Miller is going to score that many points. And even before the details of Alvin Kamara's suspension, we knew that Kendry Miller was going to have limited fantasy upside. So now that that's out, Kendry was still an early third round pick. Early third. They don't intend to waste that draft capital. Great workhorse size. He's 5'11", 215, 30 BMI, 6.2 yards per carry in college with a 5.4% target share. So the target share, not really there. I mean, we want to see dang near 10% target share with some real nice numbers in the passing game, and he just didn't showcase that. So that is definitely a concern, but he's barely 21 years old. They drafted him in the third round, and I think that's really what we want to focus on. I mean, you've seen guys in the past where you don't love their skill sets, you don't love their talent. Brian Robinson was one of those guys last season where he skyrocketed in value once he got the opportunity in Washington, and he was coming off of playing 5 years in college, was 23 years old, and not nearly the talent of Kendry Miller going into this season. So I think you have to expect at some point Kendry Miller increasing in value because of his draft capital primarily, and because of just the situation that you're looking at. I mean, at some point, Kendry Miller is going to have to get the opportunity. I mean, even though Kamara is under contract for a significant amount of time, you have seen veteran running backs get cut by their team as a cap casualty, and Kendry Miller could just slide in and fill that role. And as early, I think, as next season. So that's really what you're wanting to look for with Kendry Miller. He's dipped in value. He's down to running back 33, and that's going to continue to go down as he probably has limited production this season. And same situation as James Cook, where James Cook didn't produce like people thought he was going to his rookie year, and then he ended up being a buy. Now he's skyrocketing up in value again. You ship him off then. Same thing with Kendry Miller.
And RB33, I'm taking him right now. I'm buying him right now. So those are 4 guys that are plummeting. Was that 5 or 4?
4.
I was right.
Yeah.
4 guys that are plummeting down dynasty rankings, and different approaches to all of them, but make sure you're applying those when you're going out and making your dynasty trades this week. Do us a huge favor. If you enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like on the video, and make sure you're subscribed if you play Dynasty Fantasy Football. We're going to be your home for Dynasty Fantasy Football content throughout the entire season. Into next offseason, we've got a whole team of researchers and analysts that are working on prepping for the 2024 rookie class. So if you want to be prepared for your 2024 rookie drafts in Dynasty, this is going to be the place to be. I can promise you that we are going to have some of the best rookie coverage, period, among fantasy football players. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you head over to flockfantasy.com/domain. You'll get all of our exclusive there, rankings, articles. You get all of our research. You get on our Discord. It's a great tool to help you win your dynasty leagues. And if you do the annual Mother Flocker tier on flockfantasy.com, you get one of these for your dynasty team. Is a team blueprint. I got it. It is a team blueprint. It's going to give you a good idea of your current Dynasty team build and archetype, and it's going to give you a multi-year plan for your Dynasty team, give you some moves to make, give you some grades on some of your position groups, where to improve, depth score, etc. So you're going to want one of these for your Dynasty team. Like I said, the annual Mother Flock share on flockfantasy.com/domain gets you one of those. Code domain gets you 30% off and all of our exclusives. So make sure you're heading over there and joining us. We appreciate you guys joining us today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later.